I'm in this ocean. It looks pretty calm here, right? But no, there are a lot of things that are dangerous. Like this sea serpent or this whale, or many other things that are definitely not like me in truly conveyed territory. And you know what? I'm going to spend here 100 days. This was going to be 100 hardcore days, but I quickly realized it's way too hard for me. I also added that I don't take damage from drowning, so I can spend in water all the time. Hey, it would be great if you could press that subscribe button. Alright, let's get going with it. I started on the biome next to the ocean, so I jumped on the ocean quickly to start my 100 days. I found this structure with some nice loot. And then I found this boat which was very helpful because I got some good loot. And also wood to make some tools. And also I got wool to make a bed because I was definitely not going to swim in the dark ocean at night. Now that I had wood tools, I started getting stone tools by going to an underwater cave. And then I found some coal and went to sleep as night has fallen. I cut more wood for later, who knows how much wood I will need. And went looking for some iron because I really wanted to upgrade my mining speed. Just look how slow I mine with stone tools. I got enough iron and smelted everything and made some iron tools. On the next day I found more coal, which I mined to have it for later. And because I was getting hungry, I hunted some fish that obviously were everywhere in the ocean. I also found this structure with some more coal. I started looking for diamonds and found some. Finding diamonds in those underwater caves was quite easier than normal, so I decided I might as well gather enough to make diamond armor. I found this nautilus and then I found this octopus. That octopus looks like something that could kill me. Smart thing will be to avoid it, right? Yeah, I'm out of here. This weird axolotl guy had traded me useless stuff for my fish. I continued my hunt for diamonds. The first thing that I made was a diamond pickaxe to mine even faster. It was quite dark in those caves, but it wasn't that bad, as I was still able to see any diamonds. Eventually, I found enough to make myself full diamond armor. Oh yeah, now nothing will be able to kill me. I even made myself an axe for fighting as I didn't feel like I needed a sword. I kinda get lost in those caves because I had no idea where is the exit from those caves, so I just dug up. And finally, I was back to the surface. Now that I had full diamond armor and tools, it was finally time to start working on the important stuff. I found this nice spot for my future base. I placed there my stuff and started building. I had no idea what I wanted my base to look like. The only thing that I know is that I wanted to have base both underwater and above water. I built this pillar and went mining some cobble to make a small cobble platform. I managed some sand so I could make some windows, and you know what? I never used any glass in my base. I went to this weird canyon where I found some coal and those prismarine blocks that I definitely wanted as blocks that I could use for my base. But mid mining that, a drone attacked me. Yo, what are you doing here? I'm busy here collecting that, so die. I collected a lot of that prismarine. There was also this grey prismarine, but I wasn't interested in that one. I also got aquamarine, which I didn't know what it was for. I changed those prismarine shards into prismarine bricks, which were a lot better looking blocks. After that I went to gather more sand. I used those smelted stone blocks to make stone bricks, which I used to transform my cobble platform into a stone brick platform. I was planning to make this floor of level above water and ceiling for level underwater. I made this platform quite big, but also because of that I needed more stone and cobblestone, so I went to mine some. On the day it, I continued building this floor and also collected more sand, which I transformed into sandstone, which I used to build walls of my base. I didn't have enough of that sandstone and I needed quite a lot to fill all my walls. So I continued gathering even more sand. It was quite a slow process gathering that sandstone. On the next day I continued gathering more sand, just a lot of sand. But when I got back to my home, I realized gathering that amount of sandstone wasn't something I wanted to do. So I made my base a bit thinner. I spent a lot of time making sure it was even, and eventually it was even. Now that I made a new size for my base, I destroyed extra blocks and used those extra blocks to build some of my walls. But mid doing that, a drone attacked me. Yo, you guys have to stop attacking me when I'm busy because you will end up like that. Even with all this extra sandstone, I didn't have enough to fill all my walls. But I made half of the floor for the next level and transported there my stuff like bed, furnace and chest. Then I got distracted by this flying fish, which was quite agile. I needed more food, so I tried to cook my fish, but I couldn't. I don't know why. Eating those uncooked fish gave me just a little food. On the next day, I went to find some wood and I found this beluga whale. I was curious what drop it had, so I attacked it. I didn't expect it to be that strong, so I ran away. On my path, I found a new structure with some loot in the chest. After that, I continued killing every fish on my path for food. Just look how many I caught. I even killed this jellyfish, and next to was that fish which bite me. On the next day, I found this structure with some loot. I found this horsefish, which I knew could be tamed. So I tried to tame it with fish, but it didn't work, so I checked it up on wiki and turns out I had to use kelp to tame it. So I did, but then I noticed this structure which had no loot. But I gathered some of those blocks like prismarine blocks and prismarine crystals. When I was mining, my horsefish died. I wanted to get that horsefish to my base, but it's dead now. Well, at least I gathered a lot of those prismarine bricks. On day 30, I found this huge temple where I found actually good loot. I found some iron and seeds, and I found this spawner. It didn't spawn anything, so I just destroyed it and another one. And then that fish attacked me again. There were a lot of drowned around, and drowned that had a trident. I gathered more prismarine crystals and lead because of those drowned. I was swimming away when I saw that ship. I went to it and took some loot. I decided to try kill the beluga whale again. I attacked it and I tried to kill it, but I couldn't hit it as I was taking a lot of damage. I started to swim away. Stop. Come on, oh. Wait, stop, leave me alone. No, what? No, what? It left me? I'm fine. I almost died, but somehow I survived it. I had only half of my heart, which was very scary. That day, I also found this pillager structure. I got some nice loot like diamonds and goat apples. I slept the night and when I woke, I grabbed the rest of the loot and fled. On my way, I found another structure, where I found some loot too. I got back to base and immediately that fish attacked me. I made some chests because I didn't have enough space for my things. I fished for some time. I caught tropical fish and herring. I wanted to start making my farm, because fishing for fish is less productive than farming food. I went to collect some dirt and started to build this farm. I made a diamond hut because I just could. I couldn't work on my farm. I planted pumpkin seeds and beetroot seeds. It would need some time for them to grow. So I fished for some time as I haven't had enough food. I really need more food. And eating those fish gave me just a little food which wasn't that the best. But I had to eat something and I fished for quite a long time, to the time when I went to gather more sand. I used this sand to continue building walls for my base. I realized I had some bones in my chest. I turned them into bone meal and so I could grow my plants a lot faster. I grew my pumpkins with bone meal and I planted some watermelons and gave them bone meal too. I went looking for dirt and on my way I found this huge worm. I didn't know how dangerous it was, but the way it was looking at me, I knew it must be dangerous. So I hit it from distance. You look like you will grab me. I'm just going to kill you from far. After killing it, I continued gathering dirt for my farm, and I found this aggressive fish again. I collected my watermelons and pumpkins and planted more, and another fish attacked me. I gathered more wood. I found a structure. I realized that I could just mine sandstone from it. It would be a lot easier mining sandstone from that building rather than collecting tons of sand. I found a skeleton thing from which I mined some of those bones. I needed more dirt for my farm, so I went to mine some. After collecting them, I used this dirt to expand my farm. I added those sandstone walls to my base. I needed more different plants, so I planted some sugarcane and carrots. I used bone meal on carrots to grow them, and I really gathered a lot of them, which is good as carrots are quite a good food source. I had enough of being in my base for now, so I left for journey. On Mitch, I found that Murray eel. I fought with them. Found another one. Haha, I'm stronger than you. When I found another sandstone structure, I decided to stop there to collect all of those sandstone, which I needed for my base. I collected more sandstone from this structure. I found this well. I was curious what drop it had, but when I killed it, it dropped no loot. So I killed it without reason. Well, that happened. I found this big structure again, but it had no loot. I found more sugarcane, which will be used when I want to make books. I suddenly got a weird effect on me. I don't know what happened. When I found another horsefish, I decided to tame it with kelp, but it was only following me when I had kelp in hand. I thought if I tame it, it would follow me all the time, but no, and it was way too fast to let it just... I found a structure from which I collected some sandstone. I got back to my base and built walls with my new sandstone. I decided this was time for another journey. I found this weird graveyard. I went inside to a big building where I found some levers, so I clicked on them because I could open something. I wondered if it even worked. I didn't want to open it yet, as I wanted to explore outside, where was this small thing. I went inside and a ghost appeared. What's here? Ghost? What the? Die! Die, die, die! Die. Die. Nice! I defeated it. I thought there might be something in the graves, but there was nothing. But I noticed there was something down there. On the next morning, I decided I had to see what was down there. I used levers again and the entrance opened. I was a little afraid to go to the basement of graveyard. When I went inside, I noticed there was something inside, but that was not moving. And then that thing turned to me and killed me. It turns out it was Gorgon that kills instantly by just looking at me. Well, I died. But you know what? That wasn't fair, to die from something just by looking at it. So I just continued playing, and what happened actually didn't happen. I continued and the ghost started attacking me, but I just fled and I attacked the crab. On the next morning, I killed that ghost as it was still following me. I found this good naturally spawned sandstone, and I spent some time there mining that sandstone. I continued my journey and I found this huge squid. I was a little scared of it, but I attacked it anyway. I found another pillager structure from which I got a few diamonds. I found this broken nether portal from which chest I got the golden apple. Otherwise, nothing was interesting and I didn't feel like collecting that obsidian. When I was swimming next to the land, I noticed I was next to some savanna biome, as I saw elephants and giraffes, and later on different biome I found these coyotes, which I tried to tame, but none of my food worked. I went so far that I reached the biome with corals for the first time. On the next day, I found this shipwreck, where I had a problem finding a chest there. Eventually, I didn't find any chest. Then, far away from me, I spotted this huge creature that turned out to be some kind of huge worm. As it went in my direction, I really got scared. What is that? I'm definitely not going to fight with that. Wait. Wait, it's coming! Oh? It chased me. I was able to swim away, and it eventually got stuck. But I found this a lot smaller worm, which at first I was scared of, but I decided to try kill it. I got some drop of it, but I had no idea what it was for. I decided I might as well go to that village. I also noticed there was also dragon there, but I was curious what in big building and in the dragon nest. I went to the big building, but as I opened the door, I immediately realized I didn't want to go there. I tried to run away, but that dragon killed me. I mean, nothing killed me, you saw nothing killing me. I found those water guys' village. I remember that they trade fish. So I went back to the ship which I was next to it, and I had been there before. But on my way back to the village, a sea serpent suddenly appeared. I thought I was able to kill it, but it killed me just in 2 hits. Yeah, that didn't happen. I hid in the village stopper, but I died again. I tried to find a way home, and on my way home I found those fish guys with whom I traded. I found those gigant squids. Remembering how the previous gigant squid was not dangerous at all, I attacked it, but it attacked me, which I didn't expect, and it killed me. That didn't happen either. I finally found my base. I finally finished building walls for my base, and because I had no entrance now, I made a new in the ceiling. I realized that I lost most of my armor, so from the diamonds that I had, I made boots. When I was collecting watermelons, that fish jumped out of water onto my base, so I pushed it into the side of my base, and also grabbed another fish, which doesn't matter as they later disappeared. But I really needed to make myself new armor, so I went to underwater cave to find diamonds. When I was swimming, I suddenly heard mobs. I wanted to get to them. I tried to mine to them by following their noise. I eventually found where they were, but that definitely was a bad idea as I almost died. After that event, I continued trying to find diamonds. I also found this weird fish. What? What is that fish? Never mind. I found some diamonds. On the next day, I found even more. And I also found some gravel. So I decided I might as well get flint now. I eventually found enough diamonds to make the rest of my armors. So I went home. I finally decided it was time to go to Nether. So I went to gather obsidian. I saw how weirdly this well died. I started working on mining obsidian, but mining that obsidian underwater was very long, just to mine one. So I made sure that I mine obsidian not being in water. Then I saw sharks dying weirdly. What are you doing? Never mind. Do whatever you want. I gathered enough obsidian and went home. At base I made a nether portal. The next day I went to Nether. It looked a lot different. I saw a weird mob that was throwing at me some kind of fish. I wasn't sure how dangerous it was, but I attacked it anyway. I went further and that thing attacked me again. I looked around for Nether fortress, as I wanted to gather blaze rods, as I might want to fight with Ender Dragon later. But I wasn't sure yet. I was looking around for fortress, but I didn't see it anywhere. I was running along Nether, and I just arrived to my Nether portal. That was kinda disappointing, so I left Nether. On the next day, I went back in, determined to find Nether fortress. I looked around and went to a place that I haven't been before. I ran away from pigs and I found this weird biome. I finally decided I would just go one direction and eventually I would find Nether fortress. So I looked straight front, but I was digging so long that when I heard lava, I decided to dig that way, hoping I would find any biome, but I just dig straight to lava. When does this end? I was mining for so long. Huh? What? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I tried to eat to heal myself, but I died. I mean, I haven't died, I just continued mining. I dug into this cave. I found this throwing guy again. Later, when I was still in those caves, I wasn't looking where I was going and I fell to my death. Okay, you know what? I was planning to do that in hardcore, but I definitely died. That's why this video doesn't have hardcore in the title. So from now on, this is just 100 days without hardcore. I changed rules and I also added keep inventory true game rule. But I don't know how to change my world from hardcore to normal. I figured it later, so for now just ignore that it's hardcore. I went back to that place and kept digging in one direction and finally I found fortress. Now that I was in fortress, I found nether warts and I was looking for a blaze spawner which I finally found. It was not in great place. Those blazes kept hitting me with fireballs, but I healed myself with food. I was worried that I don't have enough, but I got 12 blaze rods. I think that's enough for Ice of End, but I wasn't done with Nether Fortress yet. I wanted to find a saddle for horsefish. I think I opened every single chest in this Nether Fortress, and yet I haven't found a single saddle. I had a big problem with all those mobs, and I hadn't had enough food. Because of that, I had to finally go home, but then I had an idea to make a portal straight to the Nether Fortress. I remember that there was this new biome with obsidian in it, so I went to look for it. Eventually, I found it, so I went back to the Nether Fortress. I built a portal and went through it. When I checked the course, I was very far away from home, but I decided I would go home from that place anyway. I had no food and no bed to sleep night through, but I found this gigant lair, and he had sheep with him. He looks strong, but I really need those sheep, but I can't go near him. When he wasn't looking, I sneaked to his sheep and killed them. But I still hadn't had enough wool to make the bed. So I tried to kill the sheep that the gigants were guarding. I didn't know how strong they were, but they got stuck, so I stole wool from their chests and ran away. I had a long way home, so I started to kill many animals for food. And for better quality food, I also cooked them. On the next day, I continued my journey. On the way, I found seagulls who stole my food, which wasn't nice. I found this ship from which I got some bread. I continued my journey and I saw a sea serpent which was patrolling this village, but I came too close to sirens and they tried to kill me. I was doing fine fighting with them, but then the sea serpent came from nowhere and killed me. Die, come on! What? Hey! Where did that sea serpent came from? Because I haven't had any bed spawn, I spawned in world spawn. Well, at least I had close to home now. But now that I was close to home, I didn't want to go home. Instead, I went to find a village hoping that I would find a saddle in there. So I went on the journey, and on my way I found another gigant slayer, which I wasn't going to fight with, so I just ran away. I fought another sheep, but then a sea serpent showed up and killed me. On the next day, I continued trying to find a village, which I finally found. Yes, finally! I went there and started checking every single house with chest, looking for that saddle. I checked every single house and finally I found a saddle. Now I was finally ready to go home. On my way, I found those bisons. I wondered if they drop anything good. I killed them and continued my journey. I found this horse. I decided I want to get him to my base by boat, but he couldn't fit in my boat. So I just left him and continued my journey home. I was going through biomes and I arrived at this jungle. But then, suddenly, a Komodo dragon attacked me. Yo, what? What happened? Well, I was close to home again and finally arrived at my base. I put everything in my chest. I realized it was finally time to start working on my base. It was finally time to add decorations. I added an underwater entrance. I added 3 more levels, each with its own entrance. I started thinking how prismarine blocks could make this base better. So I added some sandstone walls. I tried to figure out a pattern for my base, but I saw this jellyfish which I didn't want to swim onto accidentally. So I killed it, but it did something weird to me, as I couldn't swim normally, only in the way before that one update. I had to exit and join again to the game. I was really trying to figure out how to make this base. I gave some shapes to the sides and then to the front I added prismarine lamps to the base for the light. Eventually I was satisfied with how the sides looked, and then I worked on left part of the base. I didn't want it to look same as the front, so I figured out a different pattern. I managed out an extra layer of sand that was next to my base, as I wanted it to be even. I made pattern different than the front of base, so I was satisfied with it. Then I worked on sides, which I wanted all to look the same. On day 49, I continued building my base. I was starting to not have enough sandstone, so I just placed prismarine blocks. I used all the blocks I had. I didn't have enough blocks to build. I went to my farm and collected my plants. I planted them back and I also planted 3 saplings. I used bone meal on them to grow them faster, and from that wood I made chests, as I didn't have enough space in my chests, and I also wanted to organize my items. I collected 3 saplings and planted more saplings for those trees, from which I collected wood to make even more chests. And with enough chests, now I started organizing my items. Now I finally can organize my items. Days looking for something long ends now. Which I kept doing until day 50. But eventually, I organized everything. I put some of my food to cook and started getting ready for another journey in search for a fish course. I went on the journey, but I found the structure for which I wanted to collect sandstone and prismarine crystals. After collecting, I went further, but then I found another even bigger structure. Great! I finally have enough to fully finish my full base. On the next day, I left the structure and kept looking for the fish horse. I thought I had enough sandstone, so I just collected prismarine crystals from structures. I had a lot of help from dolphins and other whales, and I also found more of those prismarine blocks. So I collected them and then I finally found the fish horse. I tamed him, but I couldn't put saddle on him. I thought I had to feed more kelp to it, but that seems to not work either. Why I can't put a saddle on you, huh? What I'm doing wrong? I had no idea what to do, and he kept trying to run away, so I blocked it. In the little pond, to the time when I figured out what to do, I tried to feed him more kelp, and I eventually just clicked on it while on the shift, and that worked. What do I do now? I keep clicking on you, but it doesn't work. Seriously? I'm so dumb. I got it to my base and I had to make a place for him. as he would run away from me as soon as I don't help. I made a temporary place for him before I made something proper. But then I saw him shaky. I thought that might be because he was not in water. So I made sure that there was water in his place. I had this armor that I got from Nether Fortress, so I put it on fish horse. But I wanted more horsefish so I could breed them for scales. I went on a journey to find them, and I found two horsefish hiding in the same cave. I put kelp in my hand and we went home. We eventually arrived at home. I had to put saddle on each of them to ride them to their place. I tried to breed them with kelp, but it did not work. I also used prismarine crystal, but they seemed to not work either. They just started swimming fast around. And then I saw birds flying without flapping their wings. That was weird. I can't breed them. What will I do now? What did they just do? I just decided to go on another journey. I found some structure, but otherwise nothing interesting. On the next day, I found this fish guy's village. I knew that they trade aquamarine for some stuff, so I tried to find aquamarine. I eventually found one, but I lost somewhere my horse, which I eventually found him too. I traded with fish guy and he just gave me 2 fish. That wasn't good trade. I found more structures with loot. I found this spare realm and I was wondering if I should try to fight with it. I decided that with my armor I would be fine, but I wasn't fine. I died. That was stupid. I went back to that place to find my fish horse, which I found and continued on the journey. I found more structures. I saw those sirens that I decided to fight with, but it wasn't going well, as I tried to escape but I died. I went back to that place, but the sirens were gone. I just had to fight my horsefish. I eventually found it on the next day. I found more structures and pillager structures that had some diamonds. But then I saw those sea serpents and I tried to escape, but they were faster than my fish horse and they killed me. I went back to that place and took revenge for my fish horse that I couldn't find anywhere. I only found his remains and I died again. I decided it was time to go back to my base, and I finally arrived at my base. I tried to breed my fish horse again, but it didn't work, so I just put saddle on one of them and organized my items for journey. I had more prismarine crystals, so I made prismarine lamps and placed them in my base, and then I went looking for more of those prismarine shards. I was looking for more structures, but on the surface there was a storm. I found another graveyard, to which cabin I went in and killed that ghost that attacked me. If I go here, will another ghost attack me? Yep. Hello. Die. I found more structures from which I gathered prismarine crystals. I was swimming, then that sea serpent came from nowhere and killed me. I went back to that place. That sea serpent was swimming away from me, but I killed it. I also found shiny scales that fish horse must have dropped when sea serpent killed it. I found this village or whatever it was, and it had a lot of drownets. On the next day, I collected more prismarine crystals from that village structures. I also found some nice loot, with best being bookshelves, books, and paper. They will be very helpful when I want to make enchant. I died once, but I left my base there, so I was still there. I found that one village that I died in few days ago by dragon. Just by looking at it, I saw that worm were still there. I found this boat and next to it were 2 sea serpents. I was hoping I would be able to kill them, and I did. I killed one of them, but it just gave me just 1 scale. The other sea serpent, which ran away, I was able to kill it. It gave me 5 scales. I continued my journey and I found another sea serpent. I held my ground on this wood and fought with them. I placed my bed so I could respawn and waited for them to attack me. They did and I died. And the worst thing happened. It corrupted. Something went wrong and my world got corrupted. I don't know what happened, but I had to repair it. And I eventually did. I lost any items that were from the mod in my inventory, but modded items were safe in my chest, which means that I lost that sea serpent scales that I just got. And when I was fixing everything, I also changed from hardcore to normal, and it seems that map around my base changed a little, like new structure appeared, and some of my achievements started, but after working on fixing all of that, I forgot to record the day between 67 and 70. I haven't done many things. I think I only went home and built house a little. And I also started building enchant. I found a temple that I definitely hadn't been there before. I decided to gather some of those prismarine blocks. The next day I kept mining those prismarine blocks, and also prismarine crystals. Now that I had collected some prismarine, I used them to continue building my base. I finished this side of the base. On the next day I continued building my base. It was finally looking better, and it changed a lot. You know what? It isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I added more crafting tables to my top level to make that room look better. I went on a journey to look for some sea serpents. On my way I found another villager structure. I got some loot from and continued swimming on my boat. On the next day I continued looking for sea serpents. I remember there being a lot of sea serpents near the village, but I didn't see any. I found the different village and went there for loot. I found some interesting loot and more prismarine blocks and shards. As I was going to sleep at a night on this boat, a sea serpent suddenly appeared. I used my bed respawn to defeat it. I died a few times, but it was fine, as I eventually defeated it, and I got 8 sea serpent skulls. But I still needed more. I continued looking for sea serpent next day. I was swimming next to a very weird spawning land. It was weird. When I saw this spare well, I definitely wasn't going to fight with it. I saw some village, but I didn't go there as I was still looking for sea serpents. I slept next to that village where I died once. On the next morning, I saw a worm dying there. As I saw that, I wanted to get its loot, but... Yo, it died! I could get its drop. Dragon! Never mind, I'm out of here. I saw the dragon and I ran away from there. Thankfully, it didn't follow me. Besides that, and weird generating land, nothing interesting happened that day. On the next day, I finally found a sea serpent. It was big red sea serpent. I placed my bed and started fighting with it. Yo, why are you jumping so much? You can't hit me. It will be easy. And it was. I didn't even lose a little bit of my shell's durability. And I got a lot of scales from it, but it still wasn't enough. At sundown, another sea serpent showed up next to the ice. That one was jumping on land too, so it was easier to defeat it. I had now 18 sea serpent scales. I tried to go further in my search for sea serpent, but a siren attacked me. And next to that siren, I found a fish horse, which I killed for those shiny scales. Later, I found another fish guy's village, so I traded with them some aquamarine. I got useless loot from them. On the next day, I did not see any sea serpents. At night, I arrived at home. I placed all my new items to the chests and went looking for fish horses, which I thought I needed to make armor. It started raining at the surface, which made it harder to see anything underwater. Something not great when you're looking for something. On the day 89, next to the place where I slept, that night I saw the sea serpent that was chasing a duck. You stop running away from me. Yes! Few more skulls. I saw this dragon skeleton on ice and went to investigate. I knew that you could collect those bones, but I didn't know how. I tried with an axe and pickaxe, but it turned out I just had to use my bare hand. I got some bones and dragon skull. I also attacked those seals, but they didn't drop any loot, so I left them alone. Then I found those fish horses. that I was looking for. I killed 3 of them. I had enough, so I went on journey to my home. But before that, I stopped at this temple and collected those prismarine blocks. And when I arrived home, I placed my skull in level at the bottom of chest level. And now I finally was able to make this tight guardian armor. Turns out I didn't actually need shiny scales, only sea serpent ones. Now I look intimidating. I'm sure this asthma is better than diamond one. I looked at the wiki to see if I could make something else, and I could. I made this cool trident from sea serpent fangs, and I also gave it royalty 2 enchant. I continued building my base. I didn't have much to build. I worked on back of a base, for which I needed different pattern. On the next day I continued building my house. I had to add the details, light with sea lanterns. On next day I continued building my home. I made more prismarine blocks with prismarine shards. And I made some dragon bow tools, but I still didn't have enough materials to fully finish my house. So I went to this structure and mined sandstone. And I used those sandstone fence to finish my base, which I finished that day. Finally, it's fully finished. I went looking for obsidian and I got some because I wanted to make enchant. I decided I would not make a different space for my fish horse. I just moved them to the lowest level of my base. I used kelp to move them there. I also tried to breed them, but it didn't work. Now that I moved my fish horse to their new space, I destroyed their old space. I also decided that I wouldn't be making any base above water. So I changed the ceiling for my base to sandstone. It looked better than stone bricks. I also changed the floor of my non-finished enchantment. I used all that paper and leather to make more bookshelves. But the problem was that I was missing 1 diamond for my enchant, so I went to look for it. I found more lapis lazuli that I had no in my chest, because before I didn't think I will need it. I kept looking for diamonds in caves the next day and I finally found some. But now I realized that I would need more lapis lazuli, so I kept looking for it, and I found just a little more. Next to my base a wandering trader was waiting. I checked his trades and he had nothing interesting. So I decided I want those leads, so I killed them. I made enchant, but I still felt like I needed more bookshelves. So I cut my sugar cane and made more. And it was finally time to enchant my things. I had a low level of enchanting, but it was not that bad. I also used my enchanted books to upgrade my things even more, and gave me some cool enchants. I went to Nether to gain more XP and test my trident. It was quite cool and it dealt a lot of damage. I almost died, but I was fine. But after killing that big man, I couldn't find my trident anywhere. So I went back to Nether, but my trident wasn't there either. So I went to Overworld and got my trident. I upgraded my trident by giving it a channeling enchant. I actually have no idea how it changed my trident. I killed those pigmen that followed me to Overworld with trident and went to the land to look for some endermans. Rain was only on ocean, but on land it was foggy. I spent some time looking for those endermans, but I haven't found a single one. I gave up that night and went to sleep, but before that a boar attacked me. At daylight I found one enderman though. I made my first ender eye. Now I just need to get a lot more. I made this brewing stand that I actually never used. I realized that I actually had a boar head from that one boar that I killed, so I placed it next to the dragon skull. I only had a few more days, so I decided I want to win this fully by killing Ender Dragon. I already gathered enough blaze rods, but I had no ender pearls. At night I went on the land to fight with some endermans. When the night ended I checked my armor and it lost a lot of its durability. So I wanted to repair it, but I only had 2 scales of the core color. I needed more of those skulls, but the only way to get those skulls was by killing those sea serpents. For now, I didn't know what to do, so I just continued trying to get ender pearls that night. But then I found this dragon, which was actually surprising, as this place was close to my home, and I had never seen this dragon before. I fought with this dragon. I was using mostly my trident, but that thing was damn strong. Important thing was to keep on the ground, as when it was flying, it was able to hit me with electricity, which did a lot of damage. Because I didn't have any sea serpent scales, I tried to repair my armor with something else, but nothing worked. I really hoped something would. That night, fighting with Enderman was very hard. At the start of the 94th day, I saw this villager on the elephant and went to check what it had. I really wanted to repair my armor, as I wanted to use it to fight with Ender Dragon. So I went on search for sea serpents. I found one, placed my bed and also put out half of my armor, because it had low durability. I haven't even noticed before, but there was another sea serpent that made fighting with them a lot more hard. I tried to use those skills to repair my armor, but none of those was the correct color. At night, I continued fighting with Endermans. On day 95, I went to find some sea serpents, and the same thing happened as the day before. As I was fighting with one sea serpent and another showed up, and then another. The fight was very long. I spent most of the day dying and dying again until I figured new technique to fight with them. But before I repaired my armor with those new skills, I went to fight with Endermans at night. I made some dragon bone arrows, which I was planning to use on Ender Dragon. Then I finally was able to repair my boots, as it was the only correct color case I had. I made new armors instead, but for now, I placed them in the chest, as I wasn't going to lose durability of any of my armor before my fight with Ender Dragon. And then I did another night fighting with Endermans. On the day 97, I haven't did many things. I attacked a giga squid and died, and fighted with Endermans at night. Now that I finally finished collecting Ender Pearls, I decided that before I went fight with Ender Dragon, I would fight with a dragon that is close to my home. I got myself ready and went looking for it, and eventually I found it. And it saw me too, as it immediately attacked me. I placed my bet and hoped it will land so I could able to hit it. And you know what? The fight was very short, which actually surprised me. Die! Oh, what? Did it die elementary? I thought it would be a lot more harder. I've placed that dragon school next to the other. I was proud of that school, as it was from a dragon that I actually defeat. But you know what? Now it was time to defeat the Ender Dragon. So I packed my things for the fight and went to find a stronghold. I had a long way to get that. I just hope I would not stumble into any sea serpents. I lost one eye of Ender. Yeah, great. But I will have enough Ender eyes for portal later. Right? I kept going on day 100, but on my way, I saw that ice dragon. And no, I was not going to fight with another of those dragons, so I avoided it. What? Is that dragon? I'm definitely not fighting with that. I actually went too far, as my eye of Ender was going back, and I wasn't sure where that stronghold exactly was. I lost 2 more eyes of Enders, so I just dig down. But I got completely lost, and I lost a lot more eyes of Ender. I dig up and I got 1 more Ender Pearl from Enderman, but damn, that definitely wasn't enough. I eventually found Stronghold and got 1 more Ender Pearl, but it still wasn't enough, plus I lost 1 more stupidly. I spent 2 days looking for more Ender Pearls, but eventually I had enough, so I just went into the portal. The end looked kinda weird with that miss, but it didn't matter. I had Ender Crystals to destroy, which didn't take me that long, as I shot them, which was very rare for me to aim that well. I used my birds on Ender Dragon, which took some of her health, but she still had a lot more, so I just had to keep hitting with my axe. And eventually, I finally killed her. Just a few more hits, come on! Yes! Finally, I won! It was the end. My 100 plus 3 more days ended. Playing this 100 days in the ocean was fun, so you can expect that there will be more of those videos in the future. So, see you in my future video.